I have a video which I hope they will find our media team, where I saw Muparinga trying to preach at First Street, and he couldn't switch on the microphone.
Yes.
The only thing he knows how to buy Muparinga is a new suit. When I started preaching at First Street, he was preaching there for 7 years.
Yeah.
And if you look at how he is today, you can see that what he's motivated by is himself.
Yes.
If you listen to his testimonies, he talks about how he was taken out from the farms and he came to Harare. Those are his miracles.
Yes.
It's amazing, Pastor, that you claim to be sent by God, and yet you have no regard for the quality of the product you are delivering to the people.
Yes.
Go at First Street and look at all the people that were there when I preached for the first time. Most of them, if not all of them, they are where they were when I met them in 2013 when I preached there for the first time. I'm giving an example of Tremon Muparinga.
Yes.
He is not different from what he was in 2013. Actually, he's getting worse. You can't just buy a decent speaker and one decent microphone.
Yes.
You are preaching. Would you not desire, Pastor, to have your voice coming out clear so that people may hear you properly? What is wrong?
Yeah.
Huh? The other time he was testifying that he has a testimony that he flew. He boarded an aircraft and he went to Ethiopia. He was invited there. Is that a testimony? Huh? Did you buy an aircraft? No. You bought a ticket. An economy ticket to go to Ethiopia. And that's a testimony. Poverty in Africa. Poverty in Africa, who always embarrass us. A few days ago, a minister was commissioning a bin in Harare. Official opening of bins, rubbish bins. A full-grown president commissioned a small bridge in rural areas. That's poverty. But I want to see if we have... I want you to see this guy, Muparinga. He preached for about 10 years before I started preaching. He is still preaching at the First Street today.
Yes.
And this video is less than 3 months old. This is how he's preaching today.
Yes.
Can you give us volume?
Ndinotenda Mwari zvikuru manerano Mwari ndi Mwari wakanaka. Regai ndishumire ivhangeri. Ndinotenda Mwari zvikuru manerano.
Maigwe ari kupfeka Muparinga. Dai amira kutenga maigwe aka ari kupfeka majazi emaigwe. Atenga speaker. This is embarrassing, Pastor.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes I laugh, sometimes I get very angry at how people play with the name of the Lord.
Oh, yes.
No payapate dichiti munhu anenge abva kumapurazi kudhara but prazi rinoramba kubuda. Munhu anenge ari pakati peHarare but prazi rinenge richiri maari. Akamira kutenga masutu Muparinga uyu just for 3 months. Anosevha mari akatenga speaker 1 rine quality yakanaka.
Yes.
How can such a man say he can fight with me and say Apostle Chiwenga he is always against everyone. Now, of course, people love to talk about Apostle Chiwenga, including the TV and the radio station anchors and presenters. If I was a professional TV presenter or radio station presenter,
Yes.
I would not have interviewed Muparinga about Apostle Chiwenga
Sure.
and not look for Apostle Chiwenga to comment
Yes.
on what Muparinga has said.
Yes.
This is a very sad development.
Yes.
We don't desire to be interviewed, but it is unprofessional
Yes.
for you to publish a one-sided
Sided.
story.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
But of course, these ones are working for ZANU-PF, and anyone who says something against Apostle Chiwenga is welcome to their radio stations because they are working for their supper. They are singing for their supper.
So have
You see,
become their common enemy.
Everyone, the churches are fighting Apostle Chiwenga, the state is fighting Apostle Chiwenga.
Yes.
Let them invite me and put Muparinga there and let us have a conversation.
Yes.
That's an ethical conduction of work,
Yes.
of journalism.
Yes.
Yes.
Do professional work. Are you not ashamed to discuss a man of God with another man of God? In his absence, you never look for that man of God to say, this is what Muparinga said about you. What do you say? It's very, very embarrassing. Yes. If you are a wise person, you won't attend to those instruments of abuse that are being used by the state and by politicians. And I wanted to ask Muparinga, what kind of work, of spiritual work or ministerial work is he doing? Promoting Proton bakery products in a radio station as a man of God. What kind of work is that? Basa rokuitwa naMuparinga rekuadvertisa chingwa cheProton muradio station anenge achinzi ari kuita basa riri pavhesa. How can a man of God go into a radio station and promote a worldly product? How does that work?
Yes.
Proton paitsvaga vanhu vekumaketa chingwa yakashayiwa vanhu venyika ikadedza pastor. Do you think Proton would use me to do that? Do you think one day you are going to see me promoting a product, a worldly product? Apostle Chiwenga vanga vachikurudzira vanhu tengai matai eDunlop. Kuti apostle nekuti Dunlop zvinosangana sei musentence imwe chete? Kuti evangelist nekuti Proton bakers bread zvinosangana papi? Inzara iri kumupa kudaro.
Yeah.
Saka we have to understand him. He's a hungry man.
Yes.
He's singing for his supper.
Yes.
My advice is he should not talk too much about Apostle Chiwenga.
Yes.
Apostle Chiwenga can talk also about Muparinga, and he will be very embarrassed. And I'm saying this, it is the last time. It's my last time to warn Muparinga to not talk about my personal life. He started saying Chiwenga was working at RBZ there. He should desist from talking about my personal life. I have respected him so much. I don't want to talk about his personal life, but I can talk. People like me, you shouldn't think that I'm bluffing.
Yeah.
Politicians are afraid of me because I have intelligence about politicians.
Oh, yes.
What more about an ordinary man like Muparinga? He should desist from talking about me. If you know Muparinga, help him. Don't talk about Apostle Chiwenga. You'll be embarrassed. I'm not angry. Muparinga cannot anger me. He doesn't have the capacity to do that. But it's not fine. Yeah, and by the way, I didn't hear this last week. I saw that video more than 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
I'm just saying it because I just want to warn him. I want to warn him to talk about something. Let him address my doctrine. Let him talk about how I preach. Let him talk about Jesus' Revelation Ministries. Let him not go to who I was and what I was doing before I became an apostle. That is a grave mistake, especially for a person of Muparinga's caliber, who has so much things that he doesn't want the world to know. You shouldn't do that.
Yes.
I don't want to do mudslinging. I'm not a journalist. I'm a preacher, and I think those who follow me, you have seen that. I've been attacked so many times by people who want to discredit my ministerial work by talking about my personal life. But I've tried as much as possible to not do that. There's a guy who is called Chingandu. He tried to do it. I only embarrassed him once at First Street, and that was the last time he talked about me publicly. I want you to not make the same mistake. You are trying to earn a living by using the name of Christ, which is a bad thing after all. Don't talk about my personal life. It's a mistake. Inina Muparinga hatigone kurwa torwira pai. Ground rinofambira Muparinga neground randofambira zvakasiyana. He doesn't have the caliber to have a fight with me. It's impossible.
I think
Kada kurwa chako tsvaga munhu zera rako. Tsvaga mhuka yakafanana newe kurwa nayo. Ostrich haigone kupinda pazvibhakera. Muona pastor? Ostrich inogona kurwa nenzou here. Hazviite. Kamba inogona kurwa here nembada. Hazviite. Dzese imhuka. Asi maground acho anosiyana. Ngatitaure zvevhangeri titaridzane kuti uyu arasika pamavhesi aya, uyu arasika pamavhesi aya. Usataura zviri personal. Unotaura zviri personal nemumwe munhu anenge aitokunamatira kuti dai waita zvakanaka. Achizama maproblems aunosangana nawo. I wish him that he should live his own life in peace. I don't desire that he faces challenges in his own personal life. I've respected his personal life, but he should not try to talk about my personal life. Life is long. Life is long because there are places where you talk about yourself and forget after 5 years that you once talked about yourself. But there are people who are good at keeping records. In this world, there are people who are naturally born with an intellect that can keep records. Don't ask them to pull those records and bring them into the public. It's a mistake. I'm a man of God. I want us to talk about God. Why would I waste an hour talking about somebody's personal life? It doesn't change you. It doesn't affect you. It's very strange that in a radio station, a certain TV or radio presenter allows a certain preacher to talk about another preacher's personal life and lie for that matter. And lie in a radio station about someone. Like what he did. Inindikata radio presenter, no, man of God. Don't talk about another man of God's personal life. Just to comment on spiritual matters. It's very unprofessional. But Zimbabwe is no professional journalist. We don't have. We have very few of them. Very, very few.